Crap. That's what I was afraid of. I mean, seriously, again? Stay. Oh, might be time for lunch. Come here. Oh, you're a bowling ball, aren't you? Hey, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Steve. The video that you're about to watch, I had some technical difficulties with the SD card in the camera. So there's some missing footage and there's some glitchy footage, but I think we did the best that we could putting it together for you. The other thing too is this is a slightly educational, more like informative video on septic stuff. There's a lot of talking and things that had to be said. So if you have the attention of a, little child, this might not be for you. But you should watch it anyways, that way you can work through your struggle of attention span. So, hope you enjoy it. Well, that kind of takes care of that. I'm going to have to take that rock with me tonight. Those rocks. Maybe I can clean this up a little bit before the inspector gets here. We've been waiting on him for 4 hours. Also was waiting... The reason I didn't leave, I'm waiting on a pipe delivery too, so. Okay, it's the end of the day. We finally got our hole inspection. Bottom of the hole, they said it looks good. There was a question about this tree. Homeowner wanted to save that tree. They said no, because the poly barrier has to go there. And then the poly barrier ends there. And then I can go past that tree. But the end of the chamber is like right at the bank. So they said no, because the roots might go into it. So I told the homeowner, looks like, I had a funny feeling they'd say that, but. Alright, so the camera died on me. I did get that tree down in pieces with the pole saw. Then I just brought it over here and I cut it up with the Sawzall enough to get it into the truck, because I got to get rid of it. It is like 5 o'clock. I am going to call it quits for today to go get rid of this. I wasn't expecting to sit around all day waiting on an inspection, but it is what it is when you play this game. I'm trying not to be negative, but I'm gonna leave the laser legs there. I got the laser with me. I like to take the expensive part. Those legs are aluminum. I transferred a couple spots to reshoot benchmark down there, and I started pulling back to put that poly liner in. We'll be back in the morning, and I gotta clean up these leaves. Okay, so we're back. It's the next day. Today is Friday, thank God. I do have a tree guy coming to look at that tree next to the one that I took out last night. But when I was looking at the roots, and I snapped off the root actually looked rotted. I was able to see that this has had broken branches and everything, and the bark is starting to peel and everything, and then there's a split in there. So I do have a tree guy coming to take this down. We're gonna put the poly barrier in here. I pulled away for it, and then I'll shovel a bit, and then we'll set it to the top of it to grade. Now, a lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll go down, and because this stuff's so hard to deal with, it's extremely heavy as a roll, the whole roll is heavy and awkward. They'll go down and they'll fold the bottom. Because this is on a hill, I really don't want to do that. I want to put it in exact, because if there's a problem later, I can be like, listen, we put it in exactly to plan. And so, because I'm going to take pictures of it as I do it. Just because normally you'll use those barriers like if you're close to like a block foundation and you have to get a variance. Bryson and I did one in the winter where we had to go closer than 10 feet to the house, and it was a block foundation. So they had to get a variance, and when you have a block foundation, obviously there's cracks in it, and we put that poly barrier in it. So what we did was, it was a 4-foot basement. So by the time we put that barrier in there, that's like a whole 4-foot roll, but we were in the hole below the footing, so we just curled the bottom of it. So basically, it was like half of it. You could cut it, but this stuff's terrible to work with. It's just awkward. It's not, I wouldn't say it's terrible, you know. What that does is, as the water leaches sideways, it won't bleed through this hill and break out. So that's basically a poly breakout liner. We took pictures of this job, and the delivery for the tank is at 10 o'clock. But what I did was I sent him with the pictures to the precast place, because it's not that far from here, and show them like, this is what you're dealing with, so bring the appropriate truck. And they said, well, we're so busy, you know, you get what we send. So they said, even if we had a, you know, a knuckle boom, it's not available today. So I think we're just getting like the regular off the back cable truck. So I did bring the heavy duty lifting chain. We are borrowing their sling, but the precast place will let you borrow their sling. I brought the big chain, and I'm hoping that this machine will lift it up off of there and then swing it over. I am gonna leave the drives, the final drives, on this side, because when I swing it around to put it in the hole, I would rather have the weight back here. That whole leaving the final drives in the front and the back thing, to be honest with you, over the years, I've never noticed the difference. So because it would take us a good amount of time to dig this down a bit more, what we're doing is we're just pulling some more back to get this poly barrier in, instead of, you know, wasting our time. All we had to do was walk the machine in a couple feet and then reach over with the bucket. So it's not too bad. I'm gonna hop in there with the grade rod in a second. These are so useful for whenever we do stuff like this, because we can talk back and forth easily. You don't gotta yell at each other through the window. Hey, what'd you say? No, none of that. These things are awesome. It's a 5-foot roll. You can have it stick. Oh, I gotta. Come on. No, the branches. Oh, dude, holy shit. However, see over there, we hand packed it right there, and then we hand packed this corner, and then we hand packed the middle with the grade rod on the top, because we got elevation for top of liner. So we made sure that it was set. We cut the end, actually, the roll's over there, you can see. We cut the end so that the weight wouldn't pull it off if it was to tip over while we were backfilling, because that would suck. This is some of the best material that we could have asked for this project. Dude, this tank is enormous. It's a 2-piece, bro. So he was worried about his outriggers bottoming out. He's got to get under it. It just barely, lightly rubbing the communication. It's not power. Low geared. Wow. All right, I want to put this tank sideways. I took a minute to put down some plywood and then my rubber mats where his outriggers are going to dig down, because we've worked this far on keeping the driveway intact. There's no sense in wrecking it anymore. Once he unloads this and gets situated, I'm going to help him out. Alright, so we've just been digging this hole. I haven't turned the camera on because I've been pretty stressed out because this is all sand. And I needed to get it big enough and get a little bit of a shelf right there. I wanted to get it big enough so I could get in there and tune up the bottom. So I got in there, tuned up the bottom. Bryson and I measured off the house, and we squared it up according to the plan, squared it up with the house. It's technically, not technically, it is according to plan in line with the end of the house and along this way. So with that being said, I gotta get the top piece off first, find a place to put it, and then I gotta get the bottom piece, swing over it and everything. So my youngest son Chubb and his co-worker from the paving crew, Carl, has a tree service. So called him up and said, hey, if you want to make some cash after work, come take this tree down, because after talking to the engineer, he's not going to let me sneak the poly liner around the front of it. He wants it around the back. So unfortunately the homeowner, I told him we're gonna have to lose another tree. Yeah, wait until I stop rotating and go down. I gotta go slow because it's H10, it'll break.
I gotcha, no worries. Alright, you're on the ground, good.
So real quick, we just got to move this dirt because the angle that we're trying to lift this at, it just doesn't seem to want to lift this. Okay, so we have our backup SD card in the camera right now, which I guess the shooting speed isn't as good as our new SD card, which kind of sucks. But we got the tank in there, dead nuts. We couldn't really film too much of it, lots of hands-on. Okay, so because the angle that we're at, you can't really see it too much, but we gotta swing it uphill. So we're doing kind of steps. We're swinging it up to here, putting it down, then we're readjusting, and then we're swinging it over into the hole. We got the tar line. Chubb here has one. We got the tar. The SD card writing speed, like I said, is slow, so it's sometimes cutting us off. But essentially, we had to swing in between there, get a running start on the swing because of the angle, put it here. Now we're gonna readjust and then put it into there after we line the groove to seal, excuse me, seal the where the two pieces connect.
All right, so I got the tank in, got it squared up to the house, shot the invert, spot on, perfectly square, according to plan. I'm out of breath because I was shoveling like crazy just around there, just trying up a bit, and we made a huge mess, knocking dirt off that stump. I got the stump in the truck. I gotta go trim that load. It is. So I was going like this with the stick, trying to get it to swing up like this with the tank pieces. And I actually pulled the covers out of this top piece to try and lighten up some of the weight also. But trying to swing it like this, it wouldn't do it. I didn't want to dig this down or mess with this because remember, there's a gas line and a water line under here. And the gas company was here. They said the house was built in the 70s. There's no telling, it could just be a few. Once I got this thing tight into me and got it all over here, the machine was sitting more level. It was no problem. And then I got it almost down, almost touching. And then we went down and you know, I squared it up with tape, the tar seal for the two-piece. So, the only thing of it is I had you guys do because let me sneak this, you know.
Alright guys, so we're back, and where we last left off, the SD card ran out of space, and I tried putting in the other one, and you guys saw that that SD card's writing speed is not as fast as this one, which is made for the camera. But that's besides the point. About 10 minutes after we left off, we had this tree right here taken down because it was just posing a bunch of issues for the edge of the field. And you know, the engineer told us that polyliner can be farther away, just can't be closer to the edge of the actual leach chambers. You didn't really miss much with the tank, thankfully. It wasn't very eventful, which is what we want. We basically plopped it in the hole after grading out the bottom of the hole, you know, threw the tar on the middle of it for the groove for it to sit on, and then plopped the top on, and that was it. It's dead level, which is really nice to see, because then we don't need to shift the bottom of it or anything to try to get it level. It was level perfect. So, you know, it really does pay to spend the extra, you know, 10-15 minutes just laser grading, shooting the bottom of the hole. We got the liner done. The tree was like right there, so thank God we got rid of that. But the liner's done. We're just gonna grade out the field now. It's pretty close. It doesn't really look like it, but it all is pretty close. Thankfully, we'll get that done. Then we're gonna set the D-box, and we'll go from there. The place that we get the plastic leach chambers from gave us the wrong ones. They gave us 13-inch tall ones. We needed 16-inch ones. The plan has 3 different specs on it, but the elevations only work with one of the specs. So it was up to us to figure out which size chamber works. So after shooting the elevations, we found out that the 16s work. Basically, what you do is map out your field on the ground, shoot the bottom of the hole. This is all sand, so that's what it looks like, granular sand. The plan shows this. You just got to have clean sand in between, like no rocks, no, you know, clean, like no debris, no rocks, no nothing. I got to rake this out. What we do is set that to bottom of the hole, get the bottom of the hole, we get it pretty darn good. Then we set it to top of the chamber elevation, and then what we do is get the tape measure, the 2.5 inches apart. Once you get your first one put in on the very corner and you figure out the corner, the rest are easy because that's basically like your benchmark. So then once you set that one and then you do the next one, it's 2.5 inches from that one, then that one's 2.5 inches from that one, and so on and so forth. And then as you come out, what I like to do is I like to get this pretty darn close with the laser, bottom of the field, then reset that laser to top of chamber, and then as you put those in, you can lift them up or shave under them, and you can get them perfect. Why do you want to do it that way? Because when they come to do the as-built, they don't shoot the bottom down here because it's buried in the sand. So they shoot the top of that right down the center. So like if they're walking down there, all they can shoot is the top of that. So if your top is all good and you have the correct 16-inch ones, then, you know, you're good. But we had to rip the ones out yesterday that they sent us when the math wasn't mathing. Then we had to look at the plan, and then the plan showed 3 different specs for these. So then we had to sit there and calculate the math, and then we figured out that the 16s were the ones that work with all of the math. So I'm gonna, because I'm aggravated, I'm not gonna film while I'm aggravated. The only good thing is look how beautiful this sand is. I mean, the place to buy sand is the next street over. It's literally in that direction where they mine it, and it's the same stuff. So that's the only good thing here, is we have beautiful sand to work with. Okay, so these are the chambers that we're working with right here. You know, they're just plastic, but you can see these are the HCs. See that? High caps. And on the plans, the main diagram on the plans has the part number on there. These are the ARC 36HCs. The main one on the plan said ARC 36HDs, so those are the ones that I got. And those are 13 inches tall. They aren't the HCs, the high caps. So that's what happened there, and that was really annoying. And then in the plan notes, it's got some other chamber, which is really annoying. ARC 36HDs. And then here's the field profile, ARC 36HCs. And essentially, I had to go back here to the HD. We see we got G is top, H is bottom. According to the elevation table, these are the correct ones. So that's basically what we had to deal with. That's why you guys, unfortunately, didn't see too much of this, because by the time we got the first 4 set in, I was like, oh, it's like a little low. And then boom, lo and behold, they were wrong.
They clip in that clip right there. Can you see that? So you go in, pull towards you, and then drop it in like that.
We just painted out 10, squared off again.
10 feet out from the house is
Yes,
that line.
that's what I mean. And then, oh, there was another white mark right there, but must have caved in when I was walking there. And now we have the grade rod set for top of these. So, dun, 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 dun. Let's see if it's set.
Perfect.
So, fast tone is what we're looking for.
Because of the weight. Once you put a tiny bit of weight on these, they will go down.
That's another reason why sand goes on the sides, is because it holds them from flexing out. You can see that these aren't all getting pressed down, flexing out, because the weight on either side is stopping it, holding it in.
Listen, what do you want to do? You want to put the next one, the whole row, and then chink each row, or you want to do individual like we were doing?
Let's do the next one real quick, because we got it right here, and we can show them how we space them out. So, sir, I'm not helping him because I'm on camera duty right now, but there's the inspection port, so that end's going in.
They're wicked floppy, so
Yeah, they are very
gotta
flimsy.
be careful not to break them.
They are H10 apparently, so. So one more time, slides in, clips, and drops. What we do now is we set the tape out. We want these to be 2.5 apart. So gotta knock that one in a bit.
Right there.
About there, because this right here is still loose because
We gotta chink
we haven't put any weight on it or packed it down because we just put this one in. But you see, a lot of the time they're just they're just flimsy.
All right, so now that the field is basically done, we're gonna filter fabric over it after. But what we need to do is we need to place this D box in here. I get the H20 D boxes because, like you've seen in videos I've done in the past, I actually have a video called replacing a D box. The regular H10 ones are thinner wall concrete and they deteriorate a lot faster. I've replaced tons of D boxes in my time where the rest of the system's good and the D box just deteriorates. Like the camera, the guys that check these out with the camera, they snake the pipe with the camera and then they look down and then they see that the D box is deteriorating. And then we go in and we just replace the D box. All right, so we got the stone base all tamped down. You gotta pack all the stone. And I got the swivel on there and he's gonna line the inlet up with the tank. I called the engineer. He designed this for a different D box, but he says just make this work, whatever. I got a feeling he's just doesn't want to come out of retirement. So, nice guy, said, whatever, just make it work. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm only gonna be able to 90 out of the side of this to catch the two front. And he says, I don't care, it's fine. Do whatever you gotta do to make it work. So, that's what we're doing. I'll show you when we get this in what it looks like. All right, it's early, it's nice and cool out. That's where I was dumping my clean sand, on that plywood. Yesterday, the engineer came here and signed off on everything. I didn't get a lot of filming, I'm really sorry, but it was so hot and I was so exhausted. So I may or may not have to cut that riser down a couple rings. The code is within 6 inches of grade. I do mortar all of mine, you know, so that's done. I also, the plumber puts a gasket in there, but I mortar because his gasket, I noticed when I was banging on this pipe to get this in, that was moving in and out, so I don't trust that. So I packed a ton of mortar in there, and as you noticed, all the words are up on most of the pipe. There might be a couple shorties that they're not up, but you really want to have all your pipes with the words facing up. That way the inspectors can see that you used a consistent pipe. So, I'll show you real quick. I'm really sorry we didn't film this, but so that's the D box. Boy, I'm out of breath just walking up that hill. So this is a H20 D box. He had a 4-foot D box. I don't know where he got that from, but the places around here do not make a 4-foot D box. So this is a 24 by 20 inch, and it is H20. So I called the engineer and said, your D box that you have shows us coming out of the front. So like this pipe would go directly into the front of his D box, because his D box would have been like over here. And I said, you okay if I just 90 out of it? And he says, yeah, that's no problem, that'll work. So, all right, once we leveled off the stone bed, you saw how we were putting those infiltrators in. Then what I do is I cover the entire field with clean sand up to the top of the chamber. So each rib, we're like just right there. And that's what they want. And the reason they want that is because when they come, the engineer, to do his certified as-built, he will go down the top of the thing and he'll put it on a hard spot all the way down and make sure that your elevations are good. So that's why you just go to the top of that, and then we recover it with the fabric, filtration fabric. So that's for every row. So that's that. I really wish I could have filmed more, but I was so aggravated, and the cussing, because you know, I got a potty mouth. But he wants inspection ports on every single one of these on one diagram, but on the other diagram he only shows one inspection port at the end. However, I gotta go with the, if you have two things and one says more, always do the more, because you don't want to have to add. And then if you know, you can always, you know, cut one of these down real low and you know, adjust it. What I do is with these is I leave everything loose, so like the cap is not glued on yet, because I don't know what the grade's gonna be. And then what I'm gonna do is, because this homeowner doesn't want these caps in the top of the yard, I'm gonna put this magnetic sewer tape. You know, if someone comes looking for them, and you know, septic service guy, what he'll do is he'll take a metal detector out and he can detect the magnetic tape. So this charcoal filter, it's not glued on yet because I'm gonna adjust it when I'm doing the backfill, because I don't know how tall the homeowner wants it. Realistically, it's supposed to probably be like a foot or two above, but everybody always cuts them down. But here goes a school bus. Top of the school bus is probably 2 or 3 feet below our field, I would say. Maybe. Anyways, you hear this in here? It's got charcoal BBs and stuff. And you have to put this together, which isn't really bad. It's 2 screws and then the screen. So you fill it full of stuff, 2 screws, screw the screen on, and then this cap. That's supposed to take out the smell or the vapor. The D-box, I did fill it full of water and try it, and then we set the speed levelers, and then I did notice that one of these was leaking and the water went down, so I believe it was this one. So yesterday I went back over it with more mortar, actually hydraulic cement on this one. So that's why the different colors. One was from the day before, the night before, when we were leaving here late, and then this was from late yesterday. But this is straight hydraulic cement, and that was hydraulic cement mixed with a little bit of mortar and stuff. So that's why the water level went down. Then the other thing too is, on the plan he shows these going level into there. The most important part here is to have positive pitch. I like a quarter. Anything after the tank can be an eighth, but I like to do a quarter. whenever I can from the tank to the D box. Then after that, it doesn't matter. You could even do level, whatever. It don't matter. And then your speed levelers, like I said, I got to add more water because I did have that leak. That's another thing too, is like, see these here? Everybody always trusts these sleeves and I don't. Because if you don't cut out the ring 100%, or if when you're pushing your pipe through there and it's hot and you're tired, whatever, and you just smack that pipe through there and it rips this rubber, you get a leak on the bottom of it. So that's why the water level's down today, is to the bottom, is because those things leak. And that's a sure giveaway that you have one leaking if your water level goes down to the bottom of that. So what I do is I mortar the crap out of everything. To adjust these speed levelers, I got to get the hose and I'll show you. But what you basically do is you fill this up full of water, and these rotate and turn. And you turn each one so that the water is evenly going out of each one. The other thing is, let me see if I can get that. Check it out. Thanks, Yeti. You're a tiny bit of a shade off. Okay? Tiny bit there, Yeti, but you're close. We'll let it slide. So, there's the T going into the tank. Sanitary T, you gotta make sure that the curve is down. And then over here, so that's a 10-inch down. And then over here, according to the plan, we got 14 inches down. And then we have this Zabel filter. So this filter, the pipe, that pipe, the 14-inch pipe, from the elbow, not from the top where it goes in, but from the elbow is, according to the plan and everyone I've ever done, goes a ½ inch, you know, like an inch to inch and a half down. So you want to be right about here on that. And this basically keeps any solids or anything that may possibly go in there out. Okay, so yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine, and he is a septic repairman. He was saying that he would still put a gas baffle on these, but I don't believe in that because here's this, you know, little rubber or whatever. But mostly I don't believe in doing anything that's not on the plan. So the plan shows no gas baffle on this, just the Zabel filter. So I'm not putting one on here. So I won't do anything that is not showed on any plan by the licensed engineer, because I don't want to be liable for doing something and it not being correct, or it's not working, or it does something, or something weird happens. I'm sure my friend is 100% right because he's been doing this forever. But as a business owner, I won't do anything that is not on the plan and signed off by the engineer. And he said, the engineer said, don't put a gas baffle on there. So I'm not putting a gas baffle on it. So what I got to do this morning is I'm waiting on my buddy who has a septic pumping company. He's got to pump the old tank, and then there's a procedure I got to do to abandon this one. Basically what I got to do is I got to pump it out, and then when I start backfilling over there, I got to get the dirt off of here, break the top of this, drop one of those boulders down in the bottom and crack the bottom of this tank, and get it so when I fill it in, it doesn't hold. However, every time you break one of these and do what the town says with the procedure, you end up getting sinkhole anyways, and people call and complain. So the abandonment is that they don't want to dig this all up and remove it. I mean, the gas line is right there. See the old flag we mowed over? The gas line runs right through here. So I don't want to, yeah, see the other flag laying right there? The gas line runs right next to this thing. So I don't want to mess with it anyways. So I think I'm going to ask the town guy if he's cool if I just fill it. All the town really wants is someone to not be able to hook up to this illegally and use it for something else. So this house was built in the 70s, and the pit is in the woods under the trees. I think it's under that tree exactly. Okay, so I just got the hose and I filled this, but you see how the water level is right at the bottom of that rim of each one of those? Just at the rim. It's supposed to stop at that little lip. See that little lip? All right, so the town inspector was here. He says everything looks great. It's 11 o'clock. That's when my appointment was. So, you know, he was here for a little bit looking at stuff, and he says you're good to go. So I am backfilling. The only problem is I got to keep getting out and getting rocks because I don't want to roll down on the pipe because you'll crush the pipe. So when you backfill septics, you have to keep the rocks off. So I'll bring you back when I've made some progress because it's just going to be boring filling in. All right, it's Saturday. I didn't get a lot of, the camera died and it was crazy hot. I mean, this thing, I couldn't even hold my hand on it. Actually, it didn't die because of the heat. The DJI camera is awesome. It died because I didn't change the battery, but I couldn't hold it anyways. It was hot. I got both the machines on my 21 ton. I wanted to make one trip out of here. Anyway, so this is how it turned out. We still have to touch up the topsoil, but it got late last night. I just drove up there and threw piles there, and I'm gonna hand do the rest because every time I try to use the machine for this little bit, it just messes up the hill more. The homeowner's like into woodworking and stuff, and he wants to put the railroad tie back in there, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm gonna sweep up the driveway. I left that little remnants right there just to clean up that edge, even though before we were here it was just like leaves and stuff. Also, I left the rake and shovel for the homeowner because he was here during the week and he went back. He lives off Cape, but he said he wanted to shape his own. I think he dug it down a little too much here though. I might have to cut this because he's got all of the I'm not gonna fill this up with stone. So I mean, I get the shape, but he like, I left him the shovel and he dug down too deep here. This is supposed to be a gradual incline off here. So I'll have to fix that after because I'm not gonna put a foot of stone in here. So I think he's trying to make this walkway flat, but if that's the case, I don't know. I'll put a little taper on it, I guess, and then hydroseed it. So we'll be back here Monday to hydroseed it, but that's how it looks. I can't do anything different with the grade. That's what the plans show, the topograph. All the rocks that were there, I'll show you before we go to hydroseed it. I shoved them all down and along that edge, almost like a riprap. Doesn't show a retaining wall, but that's what it is. And then I'm gonna bring the pole saw and clean up some of those little branches that the big excavator hit, because there's no room. But yeah, and the old tank under there was pumped, crushed. That pile of fill that was there, it chewed up a lot of that. I had to import a bunch of fill. I didn't have enough after I filled that tank. So the driveway is still intact. It just needs to be swept. The railings are still intact. They were hard to work around. The stairs were hard to work around, but I did not want to put them back. He offered to put them back. We tried to take them apart. I couldn't get the lag bolts out. I mean, I had a wrench on it, but I was just gonna take the railings off and leave the steps so I could swing over the steps, but it worked out. I just wanted, whoa, woo, slippery. I'm gonna have to walk slower. I just wanted to get the machines out of here. It was too late last night when I left here to get the trailer. But I just want to tell you guys something. I have no hope for humanity. The human race is going down the toilet at a rapid pace. This road is not that busy, okay? Not that busy, as you can see. I've almost been hit, I don't know how many times, and people are screaming by me. I mean, like, I'm here, I got the hazards on. Yes, I don't have a cop, but I'm, you know, because I know, I'm sure someone will say, oh, you need a detail cop. Okay, yeah, all right, well, you know, 75, 80, 90, I think they're up to like $95 an hour now with 4-hour minimum or something. But, you know, Look at this. That is like one of the slowest cars that's gone by. Okay. Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. I know what they say, like, oh, tourism is good for the area, but I don't call them tourists. I call them terrorists because they just come here and terrorize our streets. I've had some of these people go by me. I swear they must have been doing like 60, 65 down this hill. Just blow by me like a breeze. Don't get me wrong, it's hot and muggy and I appreciate the breeze, but I also don't want to get run over and dead. Next shoot.
She's getting a little now.
I probably got to weld. I probably got to weld those handles back on, huh?
This is actually pretty good because the shovel's keeping it from going down the middle.
Yeah, but I took the handles off because they were those ones that went sideways and they were horrible. And I had intentions of putting the ones that you pull out, and I never did. So we're gonna put them back on. But anyways,
I promise this worked a lot better when it was more full.
More fuller.
Yeah, more fully.
Well, it switched chutes, bud. You got to switch chutes and alternate. Anyways, what we're doing is the boys went and got, Chubb's got today off from his work. It was supposed to rain out today, so the paving crew called it a day, I guess. So, what we're doing is spreading this pea stone. And this is the most practical way of doing it without making a mess with machinery. The homeowner was going to do this. He actually shaped this walkway. I may have said that the last time I was here. I don't remember. But he shaped this little walkway. I mean, I touched it up a little bit on the edge because he had a serious lip here. So I feathered the lip in. But he was going to do this himself, but something came up and he couldn't make it here. So I told him I would get it done before we hydroseed. It used to go straight and he wanted some curve to it, so it isn't bad, to be honest with you. I kind of like it. We got a monsoon over the weekend and this is how it's looking. Nothing moved. We got no major sinkholes. That's why it's important to get the machine on it. They don't want you to put heavy machinery on it. Says right in the plans. However, that means like heavy, like rubber tired machinery. The skid steer only has 4.8 pounds per square inch of ground pressure. So you don't want to drive over this with like a truck or a rubber tired machine that only has four points of contact on the ground. I like to drive over it with the skid steer. That way we don't have sinkholes. You got to pack dirt or you get sinkholes. It's like 7 o'clock, but it takes a while to like go get the materials and like it takes a while to mix it like properly. Yeah. All right. I mixed it real pasty for this one. I put an extra bag of the mulch stuff, you know, like the green paper mulch. We had a customer's house that we were doing, and I'm gonna go back and spray over it because the place that I get these pellets from, pellet mulch, I don't know what happened there. He just stopped it. Anyways, like I was saying, the place that I get the pellet mulch from, they switched brands on us. And I was doing the formula. Okay, see, he just increased the pressure. Anyways, I was doing the formula with the old bags. And we... Yeah, it's good. Sorry, I keep getting interrupted. Kink. That's the only problem is when we first start, he's trying to adjust the pressure on the machine based off of the batch, because the old stuff was less bags per tank, and the new stuff now that they are selling us is more bags per tank. This is 1 60-pound bag per every 100 gallons, and the other one was 1 60-pound bag for every 150 gallons. So now I've had to, last couple of jobs, I've had to relearn my mixing procedure, because
How's the mix?
it's going pretty good. See how it's like thicker than Mark's?
Yeah.
This is because it's like this is the proper amount now. Now that I don't know. And it mixes different because it's, you think like, oh, I'll just mix it according to the thing. Can you grab that wire? Can you grab the wire?
Oh, is it on the dirt?
Yeah, I had it hanging on the tree, but
I want to put it on this tree, alright?
yeah. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, so like, it just mixes different. Like, you gotta play with it. I know it sounds simple, like, oh, just add more water or whatever, add more mulch, but then the mix time, it takes more time to mix, if that makes any sense with it, you know. It's not as simple as just like counting the bag. Hey, is the middle valve open?
Middle and back are both half open.
Okay, yeah.
I was messing with all of them. The only way to get the pressure right now, for whatever reason, is passing the middle and the back.
It's because we're thicker now. I'm getting bit by a darn bug. Okay, so we are done here. And I went thick because of this embankment.
You ready for this?
You ain't doing that.
Yeah, I am.
No way. Uphill?
Yep.
You better not let go. You got to be committed, because if that comes back, it's going to take out your head. Can he do it? He could go all the... No?
Well, I don't want it to go fast. It's going to go fast.
You need it to go fast so you can shut it. It's a barn door, boy.
It's going to go too fast.
There's never too fast when you have a barn door.
Should I go?
No, give it a good swing so it
That's
can...
what I mean, but should I let it go?
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to break something.
You ain't gonna break nothing. You ain't that strong. Jesus, man, why'd you go so much?
Exactly, see?
You shook my trumpets. Alright guys, that's gonna be it. We gotta have everything hydroseeded. I put the solar lights back on his walkway. The walkway comes down nice the way that he wanted. Turns. The grade kinda has to stay the way it is because of the codes over the septic. There's certain tolerances of thicknesses over components like the tank in the D box. Also, I went a little thick over here on this hill because he has no plans in doing anything different with this hill. They actually have a much bigger front yard now than they used to. So this customer seems to be very happy. Hey, listen, if you like this video or if you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever. But either way, it helps the algorithm. And I'll catch you on the next one.